lighting little lamp that you've bought. Let's talk about dating apps. Tinder, Hinge, Bumble. You absolutely need to be using these because your match rate is going to skyrocket once you live in this central location. You're going to delete your account first on all of these platforms and remake it about 3 times a week. You're going to do that. And I know you're starting to spaz out now because I said to delete your account and you've got 17 matches that you don't want to lose. Trust me when I say that deleting your account, remaking your account gives you far more matches than just kind of keeping it through the duration. And now straight away, everyone's like, but that gets you banned. No, it doesn't. You've never done it before. Stop chatting about something that you've never done. I've done it about 200 times right now. Does not get you banned. And if it gets you banned on something like Tinder, Hinge, Bumble, bro, you literally just buy another SIM card for your phone. It's like 99p, just relax. You get so many more matches this way because when you delete your account and when you remake your account, you instantly get shown to the top of the stack to every woman around, whereas once your account has just been active for weeks or months, your account is essentially stale. I bet you get like 0 to 5 matches per day. When you do this, it will instantly go up and you'll get like 7 to 10 on the first day. On the second day, maybe about 5 to 7, 5 to 10, and then you're going to delete and remake your account again. So this is exactly what you're going to do. You're going to delete, remake your account at about 7 p.m. You're never going to use any dating app. Listen to this. You're never going to use any dating app, any messages, anything before about 7. Like 7 is the earliest. You've got to imagine you're using these apps to have sex. Girls aren't in a sexy mood at 2 p.m. in the middle of their lecture. 7 p.m. is like kind of okay if it's like the winter time and it's dark. Generally, you want it to be like quite late because at that point they're lonely, they're sex deprived, and you want to specifically be coupling up your nights out with your dating app use, and this is exactly how we're going to do it. So let's say you're going on a night out tonight. You're going to delete and remake your account about 7 p.m. Usually about 9 to 10 p.m. is when people will come to your place to have pre-drinks before you go to this party or nightclub. So about 9 to 10 p.m. once you've got a couple of guys in, that's when you're going to hop on Tinder, Hinge, Bumble. You've already deleted and remade your account, so your account's been fresh. So your account has been live for a couple of hours and you haven't used your likes yet. That's very important. Every single time you delete and remake your account, the weird tactic to get so many more matches is to remake your account, left swipe a couple of girls, and then close the app. This tricks, like someone can correct me and some nerd can correct me if they want, but this tricks the algorithm to think that you're actually a high value male who's just made the account, dissatisfied by the girls who are on it, and then close the app. Every single time I do this, I get almost double the matches a few hours later. So I don't use my likes straight away, I wait. And this also, what it does, it kind of stacks how many girls have liked you for when you use your likes. So now it's a couple of hours later, you go into the app, and usually on like Tinder or usually on these apps, you can kind of like see but not see how many likes you've got. Like it's a premium feature to like really see, but it kind of tells you, like Tinder tells you you've got like 3 plus, 10 plus, 29 plus or something. In front of your boys, but almost in a subtle way, you're going to start to like use your likes. And usually what I do is I get everyone on it. I'm like, boys, let's see your Tinder profiles, like let's all swipe on Tinder. And so I start doing this while like looking at like, you know, the guy showing me his Tinder profile, and you'll start to get match after match after match. And the amount of times that guys next to me have like looked at me and went, wait, you actually get matches, because they're using Tinder wrong. They've got their account since college and like they get less than a match per day, and here I am getting 10 in front of them, and it's like it's mind-blowing for them to see someone get 10 matches just in the space of that much. That increases their perception of you, their respect of you. If there's girls in your pre-drinks, that increases how attractive they are to you. So at about 9 p.m. you've used a bunch of your likes, you've got a bunch of matches, and you're going to start messaging these girls, and you specifically want to be moving it towards meeting them tonight in the party / nightclub environment. The first message I almost always will send when I was in this lifestyle was a sexual / drug related text. That's very, very important. Your first message should be drug related. The girls who are down for casual sex on Tinder are into drugs. So make your first message about drugs and you instantly stand out. A basic one, like basic you can say is like, just message us in like, you look like you take kets. Now all the little like nice boys, black pill spurgs will say like, wait, that's bad, you shouldn't be insulting it. But insults actually are like high level game. And if you say something like, you look like you take ket, you look like you snort bear coke, that's actually like funny as to these girls. Like they'll be like, oh, what makes you think that? So you can chat with them a little bit on the dating app. You can literally just send them a message like, are you out tonight? And if they're nearby the club / party that you're going to, you've got a good chance of meeting them there. And what you want to do then, so you've been matching with them and you know they're going to be close by. If they're not going to be close by tonight and they're not kind of down to like come out tonight, you're not going to meet him tonight, and you might not even meet him in the future, but you can still kind of pursue that as you want. But specifically for getting a bang tonight, the highest way to do that is to get their number and then to send them a screenshot or at least the first picture of your Tinder profile, because you need to imagine what she's going to be like. You're going to bang these girls at about 2 to 3 a.m. by the way. So she's just had a night out. she kissed a couple of guys. She's that type of girl. Her friend has went home with a guy and she hasn't. Because if she's went home with a guy, she wouldn't be on Tinder. But if she hasn't went home with a guy, she's kind of like feeling a little bit jealous because her friend's like been a little bit slutty. She hasn't. She's gonna hop on Tinder or hop on her phone for a little bit more validation and maybe to meet a guy who seems fun. She's already got 50 messages on Tinder at that point and 50 messages and notifications on Instagram because she's posted a picture of her looking good on Insta and Snapchat. You're gonna be one of the few texts that she gets during this night. But let's say you're basic as you're not experiencing this and you send her the text like, hey X, it's Hamza. She's not really gonna remember you because you've sent 5 messages and right now she's pretty drunk as well. The first message you're gonna send in the text, you're probably gonna message her, let's say 10 p.m. It's gonna be a screenshot of your Tinder profile or at least the first shirtless picture that you're using, and you're gonna say, hey, it's Hamza, here's my Tinder profile. And this way, when she kind of looks through the text later on when she's deciding on who to go home with, she can see instantly who you are, how attractive you are. And this alone is a very, very important thing that I learned to do. Let's talk about nightclubs and parties. Now, most of the degenerate university lifestyle revolves around the nightclub and party scene. If you don't want to be in that scene because it's quite degenerate, then clearly this video is not for you. But if this video is for you, if you've been hooked onto every word that I say, then it is the nightclubs, specifically the nightclubs and specifically the parties in which you can experience most of the fun, casual sex, degenerate lifestyle. So the nightclub scene is popping in the university lifestyle. And that's generally where you're going to be experiencing most of this degenerate shit. That's where you're going to be kissing all these girls and bringing them back to your place. And the same with the parties as well. In the UK, not that many people do the whole, they do happen, the flat parties and stuff, but it's usually more revolved around just going to the nightclub, and then it's the ultra degenerate shit of coming back and doing a party after the nightclub, and that's for the full-on drug addicts. To find the nightclubs to go to, the easiest way is to just look at the flyers that you literally, by this point, you've already got 50 different flyers. You'll go around campus and there's always a bunch of people just handing out flyers for clubs. It's one of those that you want to go to. So on the flyer, it will say which day this particular event is. Have a look at all the ones you've been given, maybe even message the group chats that you've made and see which one seems like it's going to be popping tonight. The reason why you want to go based on the flyer is because 500 people, maybe 1,000 people in your area have been given that same flyer today. And so you're going to be going to this club, and in this club, you're going to have people who literally live in the same area right next to you because they've all been given the same flyer. So this is what you do. You've already invited people to join you for today. A bunch of us, not just you, not anyone want to come to the club. No. A bunch of us are going to this club today. We're all going to pre-drink at my place at, let's say, 10 p.m. You've already sent this message out to a bunch of people. It's 10 p.m. A bunch of people are rolling into your place, and you briefly spoke to them. You start buddying up with them, fist bump, drinking challenges, all the shit you want to do in pre-drinks. Just listen to music and just talk about shit. Let's say now it's about 11 to 12 p.m. and you're going towards the club. You need to keep up the same boisterous, loud, funny, hype momentum that you've had in pre-drink. So pre-drinks generally is one of the most fun parts of, probably the most fun part of the night for most people. You need to keep up that same momentum on the way to the club. What often happens and what really kind of sets the night in a far worse tone is that you were all having fun in pre-drinks, but then on the way to the club, because you took, let's say, an Uber, and the Uber driver wasn't playing music or anything, you've all kind of just went silent, went on your phones. You get to the club and everyone's in quite a silent, reserved mood. We don't want that. So in the middle of your pre-drinks, you're going to be having fun and everything. You're going to be somewhat active on social media and take a couple of stories of people doing and saying some stupid shit. And that's great because everyone you've recently been meeting has gotten you on Instagram. And so everyone recently who lives in your accommodation, who's nearby, is going to see you having fun and see that you're probably going to be going out tonight. It's time to make your way to the nightclub. It's so important now that you were living in that student accommodation, which was central, because we want you to be able to walk there. When you walk with a group to the nightclub or the party, let's say it's a mile away or something, the momentum stays sky high, and that's the best case scenario. There's a few times where we've taken an Uber to the club and the momentum stayed up, but that's because that Uber driver was also very, very good at his social side of that job in terms of escorting students to get drunk at the club. Generally that won't even happen, and so walking to the club's far better because you keep up the same loud feeling where you're all running around doing stupid. And so now this is where you start to do what's called social lubrication. So shout out to Levi who made this. So social lubrication is where, I'll tell you his story, right? So me and my friend Levi, we would always go to clubs together. And for the first bunch of times that we'd walk to the club. So I'd be thinking, okay, we're going to get to the club. I'm going to speak to people there. I'm going to talk to girls there. And on the way to the club, This guy would be like running up to people, fist bumping people, like on the way, just random people. He'd be like shouting over at groups of girls and everything, and just like being social on the way. That I didn't even ever consider that. And I asked him one time, like, what are you doing? Like, you keep like running up to like groups of people and everything. And he's like, I'm just getting lubed up, bro. Like, what? I'm just getting lubed up, G. I was like, wait, what are you talking about? He's like, this is social lubrication. He was getting lubed up, he was getting warmed up, we can say, before he actually got into the club. And so what do you think happened? We get into the club, I'm feeling reserved because I didn't keep up the same momentum. And I'm like, okay, thinking, okay, let me go have 7 shots first. Let me go get really, really drunk before I can speak to people. He's already up there. So we enter the club and he's already again speaking to everyone around him. So honestly, I stole the idea. I started doing it too next to him. So the next few times like we're going out, both of us are running up to bitches, bro. Both of us are running up to people and like fist bumping everyone. And that kept the momentum sky high, so that when we'd walk into the club, both of us are again already up here and we're ready to like literally walk in straight away, go speak to a girl there, straight away go into the middle of a group of guys who are all friends. We're not friends with them, and literally start speaking to them and everything. So you've kept up the momentum, and in the horizon is the club. Now there's a few important points here. You've got to, one, make sure that your boys don't act too drunk. Usually at this point, one of you motherfuckers is like pissed and he's not gonna get in the club. It kind of becomes a downer because you have to kind of stand outside and like wait till his, don't be like a dickhead and just leave him. You're gonna get him an Uber back to his place. Like, this is quite important. Like the safety of the night generally is based on just making sure that your friends stay with you and that you get them home safe. And you should be taking responsibility for this, because a bunch of people in this environment don't actually take that responsibility for themselves. So if something like this happens, if one of your friends doesn't get into the club because he's too drunk, don't just leave him out there. I know that's basic common sense, but like some people dead ass do that, and maybe even the friend's like not too drunk. But imagine if the friend's like not allowed in because of his trainers or whatever, for whatever reason. You could just go in, and most people would do that. But then this guy's just kind of like stood outside, just like, do you know what I mean? Be the friend who stands outside with him. Like, be the friend who like literally calls the Uber for him and says, "Nah, I got the Uber for you, bro." Be the friend who, if your friend's like really, really drunk, takes him back home. Because that's how you share your gift of love, and that's how you keep people safe. And you don't want one of those stories of like some drunk guy then walking off and falling into the canal or some shit, literally dying. You've got close to the club, you see the club, you're gonna make sure that all your boys are like acting at least somewhat sober. Now, at this point, especially if it's one of the first night outs that you're going to, there's going to be a huge line going into the club. Huge line. So sometimes you have to wait for longer than an hour in this line. We don't want to do that. Again, it lowers the momentum, and you can sometimes keep up the momentum in the line because you're speaking to everyone around you and stuff, but generally it's just a waste of time. So what we're going to do, you're going to learn one of my secrets here. So me and, again, Levi used to do this. We see that big ass line. You're going to look through for your victim, and the specific type of person you're looking for is a couple of guys, about 2 to 4 guys who don't exactly look so confident. Usually they're wearing like a hoodie, they're like got kind of long hair. You can imagine them being like the perfect candidates for self-improvement, in the sense that they're kind of like Jeffries, they're kind of like, they play video games and everything. You want to look at a couple of those, go straight up to them, fist bump them and be like, "Oh yeah, boys, if you let us, like, we don't want to wait for the line, if you let us just jump in next to you, we'll buy you drinks inside." They'll be, again, their faces like, "Oh my god, these guys want to be friends with us." They're like, yeah, go and get behind us. Boom. You just saved an hour of your life. I started doing this in every single club night. If there's a line, even if like the line wasn't that big, honestly, I just did it just because it's kind of fun to like just skip half of the people there. Obviously don't do it when like the bouncers can see, but even then, it's like club line etiquette that people can essentially like hold spaces for their friend who's just coming in. It's like a common understanding. So you can essentially just present, "No, look, we're friends, like I know this guy." And you kind of just go up to him and just say like, "Yo, I'll buy you a drink inside if you just say it's okay for me to stand behind you." So now you're getting inside, you want to make sure that you've got some cash. Most of these clubs don't actually let you pay the entry fee with card, which is annoying, but so you need to get cash out. I should have probably said this before, but you need to get cash out, like £5 to £10 to pay like the little entry fee, and then you're inside of the club, you're already lubed up. What's very, very important, and what's actually very tricky to maximize your experience in the club, is to be focused entirely on having fun, even if you want to get girls. This is what most guys will always do wrong. Especially if you want to get girls, you need to be focused entirely on having fun. Why? Because girls just want to have fun. A guy who's trying to be a pickup artist isn't fun. A guy who's overly drunk, who's drinking to get rid of the social anxiety, isn't fun. A guy who's got a bit of a goofy dance, who's fist bumping everyone, who's giving compliments to everyone, who's having a good time, who's laughing, who's like just chatting shit, he's having a lot of fun. The girls will naturally gravitate to you if you're like that. And the moment you start to focus on the girls who have gravitated to you, they start gravitating away from you to the guy who's now not focused on them. It's like a subtle dance that you've got to kind of do. Not actually like a dance in the form of dance, but I don't know how to explain it. You've got to be in this mood, but being in this mood makes it somewhat like difficult to it feels unnatural to stay in this mood when a girl is coming close to you and she's dancing next to you, but she will like come onto you if you stay into this mood where you're just having pure fun. All you're thinking about is fun. You're not thinking about pulling the girls there. You're not thinking about how hot the girls are. You're literally just focused on having fun. Because even if you think you're being subtle, you are not. The girls can tell when you're looking at them, and you can. It's weird because you can barely tell that you're looking at them. You need to be in there. Mission: have as much fun as possible. Do stupid shit. Dance like you're being goofy, like no one's even looking at you. Speak to as many people as possible, complimenting people, but without like this sense of wanting something from them. You're just trying to have as much fun as possible. So you want to get into the club, and a nice little fun challenge for you to just go with is to go compliment 10 people almost immediately. Again, fist bump straight away, point at some guy's shirt, be like, bro, I like that shirt. There'll be some black guy, it's always a black guy who's wearing like a gold chain or something. Bro, your style is sick. You can even say this to girls. You can literally like straight up say to a girl like, I can tell you're putting so much effort into that today, like your hair today. Like, I know it seems a bit cringy right now, but when you say this with the right atmosphere, like the right attitude, that you literally are just sharing your love to the people around you, it makes people like fully like, it's like you put them into a trance. And not only that, it's your own kind of social skills leveling. So you're in the club, you've been in the club for literally a couple of minutes, start, maybe get a couple of drinks in, start dancing like no one's watching, and everyone will be watching with envy. So at this point, when you're in the club or even the party, there's two ways to get girls. One is in the dance floor, and at this point it's too loud to talk. So this is what all the spurgs on Reddit, if you ever kind of like search for like dance club, nightclub on Reddit, and everyone's like, oh, I hate nightclubs because it's too loud to talk. It's like, you're not supposed to talk at this point. The way that you attract a woman at this point is purely physical. It's purely just with your eyes. Once you make eye contact with her, it's game on. Now, if you're one of the weird guys who go up to her ear and trying to like flirt with her and try and talk to her, she's going to be unattracted to you because it shows that you're not experienced in this scene. It shows that you're not confident in this scene because you're not supposed to speak in the middle of the dance floor like much. You can say a few things here and there, but it's like you want to say basic shit, and it's mostly just moving with your body. So you're dancing, you're enjoying yourself, like no one's even watching. You've been complimenting everyone. The girls have been noticing. Eventually, like you fully notice a girl just staring at you. You both smile at each other. You kind of just get like walk a little bit closer to it, and literally the same type of dance you were doing. If this girl's compatible with you, she'll be like finding it sexy, like in a weird way. Like you can be a dancer, you don't have to actually be good at it, but as you get close to each other, you can straight away just kind of lean forward for a kiss. Like once you've kind of like connected and you stood next to her. Most guys will never attempt that. That's why most guys will never actually like be good in this scene. These girls are keen for it. Now if they're not, let's say she's not interested, then she's of course going to back away. She's of course going to push you away. And at that point, you're just kind of like shrug your shoulders and go back to having fun. You're going to assume that the people that you connect with, the girls who smile at you, the girls who like hope like you, it's kind of common sense. You're going to assume that they want to like escalate with you, that they want to kiss you. That's essentially her approach. Like when a girl makes eye contact with you in the club and the girl smiles at you in the club, bro, that's her like waving at you like, yo, over here, dumbass, and me, come on, like, what are you waiting for? Most guys will still be like oblivious, like waiting for her to say I consent. If you're waiting for an audible, if you're waiting for her to say something, you're losing. Because especially the dance floor, like where people are dancing with loud music, it's not based on the words, it's based on just the actions, it's based on the eyes and like what you're looking at. You have the benefit at this point that there's loud music, it's kind of dark, there's kind of like flashy lights and everything, and so you can like you can like go in for a kiss, and even if she kind of rejects you, it's like you can have the confidence, like kind of like no one saw it, that it didn't even happen, that you can kind of just shrug your shoulders and go back to just dancing all goofy and it doesn't even matter. The second way then to get a girl in this environment of, let's say, the nightclub or the party is through then talking. If you want to be the talker, it's not as effective like at all, but it's still like something you can do. You can do both. And so this generally, you go to where the people are smoking, you go to where the music is a lot quieter, and it's usually like some kind of like outside door. You'll go there and you can literally just start to like walk up to every single person, give them a little compliment, and you've got to use some kind of like social understanding to just go up to someone, even guys as well, and just kind of see if they kind of like you, or if they kind of like annoyed by the fact that you just interrupted the conversation. And so quite often, honestly, it's usually never actually that they're annoyed that you've ever interrupted them. When you come up, you've been having fun, and you literally just like go up to someone and you say like something nice about them, and you truly mean it. It's like a genuine compliment. People automatically like you when you do that. And so you go up to the group of girls, like the pair of girls there, the two girls. If there's two girls, they're there to by the way. A group of girls, maybe not, but like if there's two girls, bro, they're f***ing that night. You go up to the two girls, you literally give them both a compliment, and you will be able to almost instantly tell which one's into you, because one of them will like see you go like, ah, thanks, and go back to her phone, and the other one will be like, I f*** you, and that's the one who literally wants you to like escalate with her right now. And so you can just kind of like step a little bit closer, you can keep talking about something like sexual, but not like weirdly sexual, but more just kind of like a nice, again, like a better compliment. Most guys just overthink this, and they're saying, okay, what do I say? What you say does not matter at all. Like, if you've been wondering, oh, like, I hope he tells me a line, like, what do I say? I know that you're bad with women, and I know that you're bad in general with people, because what we say truly just doesn't even change much. It's just what your body language is like, and who you are, how attractive you are. And so if there is a woman who somewhat seems like she's interested in you, it's not because of some stupid shit you've said, bro. The amount of times that I've kissed girls after saying like the stupidest shit, after stuttering, after messing up my words, after like purposely going up and saying something silly. For a long time, bro, I would just go up to girls, like me and my friend would have this challenge, like say the weirdest thing and still kiss her. So I'm like going up like, yeah, I've just shit myself. 20 seconds later, I'm kissing her. Because it doesn't matter what you say, and if you look at like anyone who's truly like experienced in terms of attracting women, they'll say the same thing, unless they're trying to sell you something. Then they'll try and sell you the one sentence to say to them. But it doesn't matter what you say, it just matters how you say it. And so stop overthinking of what to say. Just the most important thing is literally that you just kind of open up your mouth next to some people. You don't even need to open up your mouth, bro. The most important thing is that you just go next to a woman. If you have the mentality that it's a numbers game, and have the mindset that on average you need to be rejected at least about, let's say, 10 times for you to like fully attract this girl and take her home. In fact, that's exactly what happened in the most recent little night out that I had a few days ago. A guy was there, he was on his own night out, like he went out by himself and he was speaking to me and everything. I felt like he was kind of semi-red pilled. And he was like, you know, speaking to girls and everything. He kept on like somewhat like asking me for advice or like kind of reporting back of how it went. And he said like, oh bro, I just got rejected. I'm like, okay, make that 10 rejections and you'll go home with a girl tonight. By his like second or third rejection, or I think literally second, he's aggressively making out with this girl. Like they're both like fully like they're bumping into everyone. There you go. I helped him reframe that the first rejection he got was a good thing. Imagine if I was like, oh my god, oh, you got rejected, bro. Those girls are stupid and everything. Get rejected by 10 girls. Not in a stupid or like weird way, but open up your mouth to like 10 girls. Within those 10, you're going to be making out like with at least a couple of them. Now, if you really want to bang at this point, you want to sleep with a girl tonight, the moment that you've made out with her, you're going to already assume that she wants to come home with you. You're going to start walking away, reach out your hand and say, come on, we're leaving. We're going for a walk. We're going to do this. We're going to go, like, we're doing this. Of course, she can say no. Of course, she can, like, say, no, I'm staying. Generally, if you, like, assume that she's coming with you and you literally, like, almost start walking away with it, she'll literally come, like, she's never been led by a guy like that before. That's so sexy for her. And if she's just kissed you, like, she's down to as well. Honestly though, once you've made out with a girl, you might not actually want to do this. All of this time, you're watching this video because you're horny as and you've wanted to live this degenerate lifestyle. But I'm not gonna lie, bro, the way that I've just said it then, that okay, you could go into the club, within half an hour you're making out with a girl, you could leave with her straight away. You might not want to do that because of how much fun you've actually been having with the boys. Now, if you don't want to like go immediately, you've got to understand this girl who you are just currently on is not yours whatsoever. That quite literally, within just a few seconds, she can and will be kissing some other guy and going home with him. The guy who makes out with her stretches out his hand and says, come on, we're leaving, straight away, whether they've been in the club for 5 minutes or not, is the one who's going to sleep with her that night. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because it kind of just shows you that the thing that you feel like you've wanted all along kind of becomes negligible when you're just having a fun time with the boys, and you kind of like would think like, I could go home and like sleep with this girl, but like I was actually just having a sick time here, just dancing and being goofy with my friends anyway. So it's your choice. But if you do like definitely want to sleep with her, you have to like just do it within literally seconds that you speak to her, compliment, kiss. As soon as you kiss, you like assume you're going back together. And if you already assume it, it's probably going to happen. Another point is to not even bother getting numbers. That's what a lot of guys who aren't really experienced in this environment would do. They'll speak to a girl and everything, get her number, she's never going to reply, or even if she replies, the conversation's going to go dead. In my years of being a degenerate, of going to nightclubs and parties, I think I met up like one or two girls from getting their numbers afterwards. And I know it seems like, oh my god, at least it's something. Like, it's just not worth it. Essentially, if you're getting her number, you're doing it in the sense of like just kind of insecurity, like, oh, she's not going to sleep with me tonight, but maybe she will tomorrow night. Bullshit. Get social media instead. Get the Instagram instead, because it's just an extra follower, which looks good on your profile, so you're just using her for that pixel. But it also helps in the sense that then she's going to be watching your stories and your posts and everything in the future, and that's how then you'll probably be able to attract her again. But generally, honestly, if you don't sleep with her on the first night, you never will. Have this mindset. If you do not sleep with her on the first night, you never will. So we'll quickly discuss right now, in the nightclub, in the party, if you haven't actually pulled a girl there, this is when you again hop onto Tinder. Maybe you message the one girl you're speaking to before, and you send out like a blast copy and paste message to every girl who is on your list. And this is why we're going to actively keep deleting and remaking our accounts, because it's kind of like sketchy as fuck, but it's like, this actually does work. So using Tinder and everything about 2 to 3 a.m. in a student location, think about what's happening. You've been out, you haven't attracted a girl enough to go home with her. Any girl who replies to your message right now at 2 a.m, bro, she's down to fuck, because she's probably went out and she hasn't pulled the guy either. And so you're going to send just a copy and paste message, whatever you can think of. And it can be very, very forward, because it's literally 2 a.m, 3 a.m. You can literally send this message of like, hey, come over, we'll drink wine. Like you can make it somewhat sexual. You can straight away invite her over, knowing that by the time you go home, you can just delete your account, and that all the evidence is kind of like removed, that no girl wakes up tomorrow, like sees your like sexual message and like screenshots it, sends it to her friends. Because any girl who's asleep right now, who's not going to see your message, who's not going to reply, you're just going to delete your account by the time you go into sleep anyway. And so this way you can see how effective my sort of Tinder strategy is that we're going very, very direct at this point, which this is like your last call to get any pussy. And so you're going to send out the last message. There isn't one in particular that I do. It's just kind of like what comes to mind at this point. This worked a fair amount for me. I'm not even going to lie to you. This worked a fair amount. And it was always the same thing of like, I would send it. I said, like, hey, what are you doing right now? But yeah, that was actually the thing I would send is just, hey, what are you doing right now? And they just say like, oh, I'm just in a party. I'm just coming home from the nightclub. And I'd say, wait, want to meet? Just basic as you can be so forward. And I was so surprised that at this point, it's like all the games of like the sexual marketplace dropped, and I could literally send a message like, what are you doing right now? Want to meet? And the girl's like, oh yeah, I can do, but I've got to be up for my lecture at 7, so I don't really know, maybe I won't. I'd be like, oh no, don't worry, I live right next to uni. And she's like, oh okay, but can I bring my uni stuff? Can I like brush my teeth? Yeah, of course you can shower and everything. I've got a spare towel, I've got like all, I've already got like mouthwash and shit. And she's like, yeah, sound. I get an Uber to your place then. So now we're going to talk about escalating back at your place, and this is where a lot of guys get quite nervous. So you've come back into your room with your girl. Now, the reason why I was drilling in before the room setup, and I told you some specific stuff that you should be buying, the speaker and the light, is because if you walk into your room, and visualize this right now, you walk into your room, you've been kissing this girl and everything, and then you just kind of like, what do you do now? You can like keep kissing her, but like, how do you actually like escalate to the point that you're banging? It's because you've lost the same sexual energy that you just had. Now, whether you met this girl in the nightclub that you were in, or whether she went to a party, whatever, everyone is just so much more sexual and less, everyone holds back less in that type of dark, loud music environments, because it kind of like hides everything, doesn't it? So this is why you're gonna have a loudspeaker on, and bro, like that's like 3 a.m. you can still play loud music in student accommodations and everything as well. The light as well is so important. So the exact thing I would do is I walk back into my room with this girl, I'd turn on the music straight away, so we got some like tunes on, I grab like the wine, pour out a little glass for both of us, or just drink from the bottle, and I'd say, okay, I'm gonna show you the best part of the room now. Turn off the main light, it's pitch black, I turn on the little club light, and at this point, bro, it required nothing else other than me literally walking straight up to her and starting to kiss her. There's never been like an easier way for me to get out of the nervousness of how to like go from just kind of like holding hands or something, walking into the room, to actually like fully start making out. And once you're making out, just see it as almost common sense. Okay, think how to go from here to the point that you're actually having sex with her, which is, okay, push it a little bit closer towards the bed, take your clothes off, take her clothes off, start like just foreplay, and then just go from there. Now at this point, you might experience what's commonly referred to online as last minute resistance, which is actually like, it is something that happens quite often. So last minute resistance is where you're getting pretty sexual, the girls were getting pretty sexual, but then she kind of like stops. So usually you're like fully naked at this point, but she's like, wait, stop, like, I don't want to have sex. Now most guys would start flipping out. They're like, wait, what, why don't you want to, what's wrong and everything. You've got to almost assume like it's done nothing to you, to the point that you're like, yeah, okay. And you literally just slide off, and then you just kind of like do something. And The do something part is like, now I understand what exactly is the best thing to do. You go straight away to your little sweetie drawer. You remember the childish sweets. You grab a couple of them, give them to them. And it's like, it just brings like such a sweet, like loving, like familiarity where she'll be like, oh my god, like I used to have these sweets. And so you can do it with anything. You can do it with like little ice lollies. That's always nice if it's warm as well, like little lollipops and everything. So you sit around just kind of like eating them and just talking and sipping some wine for literally just a couple of minutes, and you escalate again. At this point, it's like you're literally naked together. You've just shared, like, you went from being purely physical to now just being the guy who she's having like sweets with, and you've shown that you aren't phased by her saying that she doesn't want to have sex with you. Like, you completely understood her need for consent and like safety and boundaries, and that is so sexy. Now, before I've said we're gonna assume consent, of course we are, because we're not like the modern world. The modern girls would say to you, like, yes, they want a guy to ask for consent. They actually don't. It kind of sounds nice. It's like women have been like almost deceived to say that they want this. They don't want a guy to ask for consent, but they want like absolutely need a guy to respect consent or without consent. So you're not going to ask for it. You're going to essentially assume it up until the point that she says, like, no way, I'm not comfortable, whatever. At that point, it's like, it's going to do nothing to phase you, and you're just kind of like almost shrug your shoulders and be like completely fine with it. Okay, now we're just gonna have like sweets, like that's still fun too. And so at this point, you bang the girl, treat her nicely. I know like you're a bit of a degenerate and everything, but your experiences here really do somewhat shape you, and it really does create like the image of you in the people around you. And once you sort of get out of this lifestyle, you will wish that a bunch of these girls who did nothing wrong to you had a better perception of you, but you just kind of treated them like shit. You had this idea that you should, like, for some reason treat them like bad. You don't have to. Like, I did that, and I look back with like shame for that, because there was girls who were nothing but like nice to me, and I thought it was more of the alpha male thing to do, to like kick him out, and like, you know, I thought that was like an ego boost and everything. And when I look back, I was just like, why did you do that? Because I'm thinking to my younger self, like, you wanted to cuddle with her, bro. Like, you literally wanted to cuddle. You wanted her to stay the night, but you thought it was like more of like the red pill thing to kick him out. Bro, that. Do what, like, if she's annoying as if she's like for some reason weird, like, you shouldn't have slept with her in the first place. But if she is, then of course you can say like, oh no, like, you know, I don't want you to stay or something. You can just be upfront with it. But generally, the girl that you've done all of this with, in the same vibe that I've been suggesting, which is like to be the fun loving guy, she's not going to be weird, she's not going to be like aggressive, she's not going to be like anything negative. It's just going to be like a fun night you guys share together. And so at that point, keep around and let her stay the night. Give her the like mouthwash and all the shit that you've, like, you know, you've already prepared for yourself, and she's going to have like a fond memory of this. And this is how you turn a one night stand / hookup into like a very consistent sexual partner, and that's probably what you've wanted anyway. Oh, we've still got a long way. Goddamn, we've still got